To me, Trail Mix is about mixing textures with other interesting elements. And Lisa Fulmer has done just that today. She's mixed paper with some other things like rope and metal to create what she calls paper trail mix. So here's Lisa sharing her collage tips for you.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lisa Fulmer, and I am so happy to be here with Rebecca on Mixing It Up. And I love this theme of the cowgirl, and for me it sort of represents an independent spirit. And so I thought I would just walk you through my approach to collage with a focal point like this cowgirl. Let me just hold this up a little closer so you can see. I've got some metal embellishments. I've got a vintage image that's framed. I've got some graphic paper that's got sort of a little bit of whimsy. I've kind of carried through the circular dots with brads. I've got a little cowboy boot charm here. I've got some words that are pretty funny, and some wood grain papers, and some yarn that looks like rope. And so how I came to all of this, well, first we start with a focal point, and that's what I love about challenge blogs and any sort of an opportunity where you've got a theme or a challenge word to use. It really does kind of spark and motivate you into putting together different elements to create a collage. And this is sort of what I call sort of a scrapbook page approach to collage. What I really like about it is I like having a focal point. I like combining papers that have sort of a more whimsical graphic look and novelty papers like this wood grain, as well as just solids and simple colors, and also some really modern abstract patterns. So I really like that combination. I also like combining straight lines with curved lines and with torn edges. I just like the contrast of all that. And so when I figured out what my focal point was going to be, which is this woman who has got a gun in her hand, that was the first part. Then I always like to have words in my collage. I just think it adds so much character, and whether you're putting your own sentiment in words, or whether you're finding some quotes, or in this case, this is just a scrapbook paper that has just random postcards and letters written on them. And what was hilarious about this particular piece, when I read it up close, I realized that it said, you know, "Dear Sir, after last night's experience, I am solemnly resolving to swear off all men. I'm going to be an old maid forever, and I hate men." And I didn't realize it was such a male-bashing theme on this particular scrapbook paper. But with her gun in her hand, I just thought it was too funny to pass up. So I had to use this particular paper. And what I did to it, it was white, and I stained it with some really easy tinting ink. This is a tinting ink that has a sponge tip applicator, so it's really easy to give a light stain to your torn edges or to anything that's a little too bright white. So I wanted all the colors to be warm, and really what I did was I just went through my scrapbook paper drawers and just pulled out anything that had the warm tones or that had an obvious connection. I mean, the wood grain fence paper was an obvious one for a Western theme, but I also had these scraps of dark green and polka dots. I looked at stripes. I looked at browns and rusts colors and greens. This was a cool paper that was actually of yarn and fabric, but it kind of had that rope look to it. This paper had a real leathery look to it, as did this one. I had some other paper that had random words on it. So it's just a matter of going through and just pulling out a whole bunch of different papers that kind of have a similar feel, and then laying them all out and making some decisions. Now when I'm starting with a 6x9 piece of cardstock, and when I do this, I personally like to approach collage in sort of two layers. The background layer, sorry, I spun that around there. The background layer, I work in vertical strips, and then I accent it sort of horizontally in the front layer. And that just works really easily for me, and I just find that's a really easy way to approach it. So I also like the balance of a little bit of dark on both edges and lighter in the middle. I took my image and I burned her around the edges with a match, and to give her kind of a random curved burned edge. And I framed her sort of cockeyed because she was sitting sort of at an angle. So I just positioned her face full on, but then because I've got these straight lines, I kind of wanted my other elements to be sort of more angled to contrast with the straight lines. So then it's just a matter of adding pieces. After I positioned her where I wanted her, I just added a couple of horizontal points here and here to kind of balance it off. And then, you know, working with triangles is always good for balance. I, you know, worked with just alternating corners to frame it. And those are just some of the principles, I guess, that I work with to achieve a collage that I'm happy with. And there's no rules, there's just different approaches, and this is just an approach that I personally enjoy. It's quick, it's fun, and I can set this, you know, at my desk and look at it and giggle about the message here and feel that independent spirit of a woman of the Wild West, and I think it's enjoyable. So I hope that gives you some inspiration to create some fun collages of your own. You can work in a larger size like this. I also like working in a 4x6 size. Here's another similar piece with a Western theme. The 4x6 is a really fun size to work in, because then this can turn into a postcard. You can put it on top of a greeting card. So it's a versatile size, but I do like working in these smaller sizes. It's a lot of fun. So yippee-ki-yay! Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and get out there and rope some doggies. Is that how it goes?